What's up, YouTube? What's going on? It's Regular Ravens fan. I'm back at it. I got to be back at it because, they just keep giving me things to talk about. As I always say, people, trust your eyes. Trust your eyes, man. Just watch it. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Anybody that's watched any of my videos, we all know, where I stand with Lamar Jackson. I believe wholeheartedly that this dude is the best player in the NFL. Period. Bar none. I don't care. You can tell me anybody's stats. I'm telling you, when I watch the games, and I watch a lot of games, I don't only watch Ravens games. When I watch the games, Lamar Jackson is the best football player in the NFL, in my opinion. Right? I got things I can say to back that up. But I want to show you a conversation had between Jeff Saturday and mainly Keyshawn Johnson. I mean, Sleazy A Simp, he's standing there, but I put no credibility into anything that man says, okay? But I wanted to play this for you all because I want you all to listen to Keyshawn Johnson. This dude and a lot of other dudes out there are starting and are now doing what I've been asking people to do for 3 years. Watch this kid play, man, and judge him honestly. Don't judge him based upon what haters say. Judge him based upon what he does on the football field. This is not John Madden. This is not fantasy football. It's real life football, right? So let's get into it.
But Jeff, Lamar does put the team on his back. I know they're getting into those overtime positions, but he's winning those games.
So does Tom Brady.
But an MVP is what Lamar is doing, Jeff.
No, listen. Tom Brady he's completely, listen, he went and won a championship for a reason. He makes their offensive line better by the way that he gets the ball out on time, pre-snap read, post-snap read, all of those things. So a line that somebody else might not look nearly as good, he makes them better. No different than what Lamar Jackson does. He makes their offensive line look better because his style of play. Let me give you a great example. Orlando Brown, who's now with the Chiefs, right? Mm-hmm. He looked like an all-star at left tackle because of what Lamar can do behind the line of scrimmage and buy time. In Kansas City, it hasn't looked quite as good because the way that the quarterback pays dividends for the offensive line. No different than what Tom Brady is doing. What I'm telling you is, you can't just say if we took Lamar out, that Aaron Rodgers.
What's the definition of MVP? The definition of MVP is most valuable player on your team.
And you're saying, not on your team, in the league. In the league would be Tom Brady.
I don't think that Brady's the most valuable player when it comes to Lamar.
Let's do this thought experiment. What if we swap them?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
What if we swap them? Do the Ravens have more wins? Would the Bucks have as many wins?
I would love to see Lamar with Mike Evans, Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, Leonard Fournette and company, along with Antonio Brown. I would love to see Chris Godwin play with him. I would love to see it.
I appreciate that you see it that way, but there's a reason. There's a reason that Baltimore runs the style of offense with Lamar, and they've completely transformed what this offense looks like because of Lamar.
His body of work and his
That's
style.
my point. If Tom Brady went to the Ravens, you don't think that Tom Brady and John Harbaugh are going to put wins on the board?
I think they put ones on the board, but I think that we can't ignore the fact that what we're seeing from Tom Brady.
You can't?
At age 44. Matters. Now, if this dude is a young spring chicken and he's just stepping out in the pocket and he's throwing the football effectively, doing some of the similar things, you compare that to Lamar Jackson, I get where you're coming from. I can't ignore the fact. I know we're supposed to just look at the numbers, just look at the wins, just look at that. But I can't ignore the fact that at 44 years of age, he's doing what he's doing.
I can't ignore the fact that this dude is putting his team on his back.
Yeah.
He's carrying that Raven in a stadium on his back.
He's had 3 games, bro, where his passer rating is like below 90. Like I get the
W column.
Okay, I'm with you. 5 and 2, 6.
I think it's 6
and 2, right? So they're even, right? They're both together. I respect the heck out of Lamar Jackson. This is not a slight on Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying, when you look at what Tom Brady has done in Tampa and continues to do week in and week out, the dude produces, man. And
I want to stop it right there, right? Because here we go. Let's look at what Tom Brady has done, right? Let's look at what he's done in Tampa. Let's first off go back to why did Tom Brady leave New England? What was the overwhelming sentiment among national media members? They don't have enough weapons. You've got to give Tom Brady help. He doesn't have enough weapons. He can't do it. The same quarterback that in years past they said, oh, he can just take 3 guys out the stands and go win a Super Bowl. It was, he needs more weapons. The Patriots aren't helping him. I mean, Mac Jones got the same weapons and the Patriots look almost the same as they look with Tom Brady. Almost. But I digress on that. He needed more weapons. So he goes to Tampa Bay, where there is an all-star, Pro Bowl, skill position player roster on offense. Let's go down the list. Mike Evans, check. Chris Godwin, check. Antonio Brown, check. Gronkowski, check. O.J. Howard, check. Leonard Fournette, check. Now, I've said all those names, right? You're going to tell me that if we switch these 2 players right now as rosters are constructed today, with the Ravens not having Gus Edwards, not having J.K. Dobbins, not even having Justice Hill, not having Sammy Watkins, not having, our number 1 cornerback, in my opinion. Again, some people, I like Marlon Humphrey, I really do, but to me, the number 1 cornerback is Marcus Peters. That's a cornerback who actually covers people and actually plays routes, in my opinion. Not having all of that, not having a great pass rusher. Because remember, on the Bucs defense, as much as people want to say their secondary is bad, they've got Ndamukong Suh, they've got Jason Pierre-Paul. These guys go get it. Not to even mention Shaq Barrett. I mean, I can go on and on. Look at their linebacking core. Look at the Ravens linebacking core, right? With Patrick Queen, who has been usurped at middle linebacker by a guy off the street. The Ravens are playing with a lot of guys off the street. Devontae Freeman, off the street. L. Bell, off the street. Taysom Williams, practice squad player a year ago. That's our running back room. Latavius Murray, off the street and hurt. Right? Again, don't get it twisted, people. I'm a Ravens fan. I love Hollywood Brown. I love Devin Duvernay. I love Andrews. These guys are Ravens. That's how I like the way they play. I like our football team. I really do. But I gotta be real. Are any of our wide receivers collectively as a group, right? And I love Bateman and I love Watkins. I do, because Watkins is your Raven. But I'm just saying, in real life, collectively, are these guys Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown? Is Mark Andrews by himself, O.J. Howard, and Gronk? Are any of our running backs Leonard Fournette, and their backup running back is a starting running back? I'm blanking on his name, but I know he's number 25. And anybody that knows me, I like to call players by their numbers. I know he's number 25, and I know he's got juice when he gets the ball. Are any of those guys that? Is our offensive line right now today, without our starting left tackle, with Alejandro Villanueva playing left tackle, without even our backup right tackle, is our offensive line as good as Tampa Bay's offensive line? Not at all. Not at all. Lamar Jackson's been sacked, I think, more than any other quarterback in the league. Tom Brady is throwing for 2,500 yards. He's on pace for 5,000 yards. Lamar Jackson is throwing for 2,000. He's also rushed for better than 600. Again, we're talking about MVP. Tom Brady is the GOAT. And that's from regular Ravens fans' mouth. Tom Brady is the GOAT. He has had he's a 7-time Super Bowl champion. He's won Super Bowls with multiple teams. You are the GOAT. But being the GOAT, meaning greatest of all time, because of your accomplishments, that does not mean that you're the best player in the league. Tom Brady cannot do everything that Tom Brady does with the football as far as distributing the ball to his skill position players. Lamar Jackson can do. Simple exercise I'm going to provide for everybody. Every single thing that Tom Brady does as far as distributing the football to his skill position players, Lamar Jackson can do. Lamar Jackson can do things that Tom Brady cannot do. Plain and simple. That alone means you're not better than that player. Yes. Is your team better? Yes. I'm not debating that. I'm not saying that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not as good of a team as the Baltimore Ravens as constructed. What I am saying is that the Ravens team is just as good because our quarterback is that much better, because he's the best player in the league. And when you heard what Keyshawn Johnson said, I would love to see Lamar Jackson play with a Tom Brady type skill position player group, because it would be no contest. What would you do? Right now, teams are having trouble stopping Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews and company just because of Lamar Jackson, just because of the threat that Lamar Jackson poses. So how in the world would you stop Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Gronk, O.J. Howard, Leonard Fournette? How would you stop those guys as a defense if you had to worry about number 8? How would that happen? And people are going to tell, stats do not mean that you're the best player. A quarterback can throw a screen pass. Running back can catch a screen pass behind the line of scrimmage, could turn that screen pass into a 75-yard game, and that quarterback just got credit for one pass completion for 75 yards. Does that really mean that the quarterback, threw the ball 75 yards in the air in between 3 defenders and dropped it into a bucket? Absolutely not. Stats don't equate to who's the best. Stats are just what they are. They're numbers. And you can make a number do anything you want. But you can't make my eyes lie. You cannot tell me that when I turn on the TV and I watch Tom Brady snap the ball and then distribute the ball, that is the same or better than when I watch Lamar Jackson get the ball snapped, distributed it, and also run it, and also turn broken plays into positive plays. You can't tell me that those are the same things, because my eyes don't lie. And I love the fact that Keyshawn Johnson is putting these things out there. I love the fact that there's others in the media putting these things out there. If you think for a second that there is a better football player in the NFL than Lamar Jackson, we've got problems, because you can't show me that. Kyler Murray, yes, he's coming. But what did we just see? We just saw the Cardinals blow out the 49ers with Colt McCoy. So is Kyler Murray really that good, or is the team constructed so well? Dak Prescott is playing excellent football this year. But we saw the Dallas Cowboys win with Dak Prescott's weapons at full complement. We saw the Dallas Cowboys win a game with Cooper Rush. And then we saw that when Dak come back from injury, and I'm not going to, that's no slight against Dak. He came off an injury. He's probably rusty. But we saw them get blown out by the Broncos. We've seen Josh Allen make mistakes, cost his team wins, and we've also seen his team, him leading the offense, put up 6 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, there's a guy who's on this stage who I told you I have no credibility in, Sleazy A. Simp. I've heard him say, well, the last time we saw Lamar Jackson playoffs, he put up 3 points. So if you're going to charge a team scoring 3 points to Lamar Jackson, we have to charge the Buffalo Bills scoring 6 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars to Josh Allen. We have to do that. Stephen A. Smith, a.k.a. Sleazy A. Simp. This man is talking about we can't deny what Tom Brady is doing at age 44. That is well, fine, and good, but it has nothing to do with who's the most valuable player in the NFL. If I remove Tom Brady from the Buccaneers and I have a competent quarterback at that position playing for the Buccaneers, do we all believe that the Buccaneers will be 1-7 or 2-6? No. If I remove Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens as constructed, I'm not talking about changing the roster around, as constructed, I don't care if you put Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or any other quarterback you name in the starting lineup, I promise you they will not be 6-2. Because the reason defenses are playing us the way they are is because of number 8. Point blank and simple. That's who defenses are getting. How do we stop Lamar Jackson? And I've said this many a times. That right there makes him the most valuable player in the NFL. And it's going to be year after year after year. He may not win the award year after year after year. But come on, man. Come on, people. Are your eyes really telling you that there's someone better than Lamar Jackson right now in football? And if so, tell me who it was. And there's another thing that I want to bring up. I got to bring it up on this video, and I'm sorry if it's going long, but I got to bring this up. Before the year started, there were people out there talking about this is the year they're going to figure out Lamar Jackson, right? And all we've seen, and the only thing that's been figured out is Lamar Jackson's pretty good. He keeps getting better and better. So maybe they did figure him out. Maybe the league did figure out Lamar Jackson. Maybe they figured out this guy is not a one-trick pony. There is no cheat code. There is no, magic wand to wave to stop what he does. You have to just play football. You have to execute, and you have to have a lot of luck to beat this team as long as they're led by him. Maybe that's what they figured out. So maybe the statement in itself was true. But my question is, what's going on with Patrick Mahomes? Why has no one said that he's been figured out? Because let me tell you something right now. I've put a lot of videos out there, and they're archived. You can go watch them, and I'm not making this up. This is not revisionist history for me. I've said a long time now, for 3 years, Patrick Mahomes is not the quarterback people thinks he is. He was a quarterback playing with great weapons, and they've only subtracted one weapon, and that's Sammy Watkins, who now plays with the Ravens. What Sammy Watkins provided for Patrick Mahomes was if you double Tyreek Hill, if you double Travis Kelce, you got to deal with Sammy Watkins one-on-one. And there's not a number 2 or number 3 cornerback in the NFL that can do that on a consistent basis. They were unstoppable. And then you sprinkled them, Mecole Hardman and the kid Robinson. You sprinkled them in with their speed and their ability to get deep. The team was a juggernaut. But what you're seeing now is without that curveball, so to say, that second pitch, Patrick Mahomes is an ordinary quarterback. Why? Because I've told people time and time again, when your highlights are you throwing deep passes to someone who's double and triple covered, and they're just beating the defense and out jumping them for the ball, and making these wonderful plays, and Kelsey's running people over, shacking people, posting them up to catch passes, you may have made a bad read. Because if Tyreek Hill is double and triple covered, someone's open. Unless it's a 2-man route. If it's not a 2-man route, someone was open. You probably shouldn't have gone there with the ball. But I've got no problem with you trusting your guys. Got no problem with that. But I'm just saying, now that he's forced to try to read defenses, now that he's forced to try to know when to check down, when to hit certain routes, he looks pretty ordinary. Why isn't anyone talking about that? Why is no one saying that this is the year the league maybe has figured out Patrick Mahomes? Where is that sentiment? The sentiment is, it's the team around him. The defense is bad. The defense has been bad for 3 years. The defense was so bad, the only thing was that the offense provided them to keep teams one-dimensional. And that's not happening now. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is a bad quarterback. I'm just saying he's not the guy that everybody thought he was. He's not the generational talent that they thought he was. I've seen generational talent. I've seen Dan Marino play with my own eyes. I've seen Randall Cunningham play with my own eyes. I've seen John Elway play with my own eyes. And I've seen Lamar Jackson play with my own eyes. I know what generational talent is at the quarterback position. And I also have seen other big arm quarterbacks. Jeff George comes to mind. Some other ones come to mind that I'm not even going to speak on. But I've seen other big arm quarterbacks that when you take away that superstar roster, they aren't the same guy. One of them is down in Tampa. The guy that they're having this conversation about. You want to tell me that Tom Brady's this MVP? Well, then why did he leave New England? Why didn't he put up these numbers in New England? Because it's the roster. So if I've got a guy who's playing with a lesser roster, producing equal, if not better numbers, that's your MVP. Trust your eyes, people. Never believe the lies. This is Ravens Nation, man. I'm Ravens for life. I suggest you all check out the guy over at Engraving. I suggest you all check out my guy over at All22. He puts out excellent videos to break down what I'm trying to articulate to people as to how good Lamar Jackson really is. Like, I don't think people understand, right? And another thing that they say to slight Lamar Jackson is, they change their offense to tailor the offense to his skills. Do you have any idea how intelligent, how high of a football IQ you have to be able to read defensive linemen and linebackers in the run game and then also read coverages in the pass game? This guy is doing more than anybody else. He's reading everything. He also is getting them in the best plays, and he's making the plays. And when they fool him, he's not panicking. He's not forcing the ball. Come on, man. This guy's playing at a high level. A very high level. And I hate when they try to come at people and say they change. See, when the media says that, They're trying to act as if Lamar Jackson is this dumb guy, so the Ravens had to put in some college offense because he can't, handle complexities. The offense that Lamar Jackson runs is more complex than 99% of the NFL. The only offense that may be as complex is down in Arizona. That's a complex offense down in Arizona. That air raid is pretty complex. Because you got to understand your protections, because you're always sending 4 and 5 guys out in the route. It's pretty complex. But what Lamar Jackson has to do, come on, man. The mesh point itself is a delicate operation. To know when to give and keep. To know when the defense is bluffing and when they're not. To know where the blitz is coming from, you've got to pass the ball. To understand what coverages the back end is making. All while reading the line. Like, the offense that the Ravens are running is very complex. And it's multiple. So don't try that tailor the offense to his skill set to diminish what Lamar Jackson is doing. Every quarterback has an offense tailored to what they do best, right? Like the Kansas City Chiefs call a lot of deep shots because their quarterback has a big arm. They don't call a whole lot of intermediate routes because, as we've seen this year, their quarterback isn't the best at all of that. That's not his game. And that's why their offense is suffering. Defenses have figured that out. His game is getting you deep. His game is chunk plays, right now plays. His game is not matriculating the ball down the field on 10, 12, 13 play drives every time he gets the ball. Every quarterback has an offense tailored to what they do. But the one in Baltimore is more complex than most. Ravens Nation, I love you. This is regular Ravens fan signing off. I'm always going to be Ravens for life. Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback and the best football player in the NFL. He is the MVP. Bar none. And as always, people, we out here.